What's up? I'm Brianna Ivy, and this is the Hear From a Professional podcast. Gabrielle!
Hey, girl.
How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I am absolutely phenomenal, and I'm very excited for this episode because, as you know, we have known each other for more than half my life, probably.
Yeah.
But today we get to do something together we ain't never did before, and that is you are a guest on the pod.
Yes.
So for the people who don't know you, introduce yourself. Let us know your name, where you're from, what you got your degree in, and what you do currently.
Okay. Well, my name is Gabby. I'm from Macon, Georgia. I have a bachelor's degree from Spelman College in economics. I graduated in 2021, and then I have a master's degree, business administration at Mercer. Finished that at the end of 22, and I currently work as a program manager. So it's been great.
All right. Let's see how far back we can actually go. Okay.
Yeah.
2017.
Yeah.
We at Central. And we're like, oh no, everybody gotta go to college. Oh no. And you decided to go to Spelman. Do you remember what drew you to Spelman?
Well, my senior year started and my brother was really big on like, you need to go somewhere and go to school. Don't go to school in Macon like I did. Okay. And so he took me to DC to see Howard. And we went the first time. It was really nice. I was very, very shy at the time, like very reserved. But I really did like the school. So we went back a second time with my parents. And my mom was like, this is way too far. Like, this is way too far. It was like, I know you. I don't think you're going to do well in this environment. Like, this is too out there for you. Okay. And so at the time, I was just like, okay, I wasn't combative about it. It was really expensive. And I was like, oh, I didn't know how I was going to afford it anyway. And so it really wasn't a big deal. So when it was time to apply to school, I was like, well, Spelman is closer. And I knew it was like an hour and a half from my house. Yeah. So I was like, this might be a little bit better. And we went to, it's kind of like Admitted Students Weekend, but there's a name for it that it's escaping me now. But it's like you get to go there for a day. And you actually get to spend the night. So your parents come the first day, they have a whole presentation. Okay. And then you stay overnight in the dorms to get like a real deal feel. Now, mind you, these dorms have no air conditioning. So when you are getting like the brutal review of like, why do people withstand this type of torment? Yeah. Georgia is really hot. So it's like, okay. But my parents really liked it. I really liked it. And so it kind of just cemented okay, we're going to try Spelman. Let's go see how it goes.
Hey, first of all, didn't even know Justin was so involved in this.
Yes.
That's amazing. Was it Spelman came first and then you wanted to study Econ, or was it Econ and then Spelman kind of just fit that?
Well, Spelman was the only thing I had planned when I got to Spelman. So
it was like, okay. So and that's like, okay.
Get there. I had no idea what I want to do. In fact, I just told my mama last week, I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. But at the time, I was like, okay, let me just get my foot in the door. Okay. Because me going there, my parents did not attend college. My dad attended for 2 years. He didn't graduate. My mom didn't go. My brother is the second person in my family to even finish school. Okay. So at this point, me getting there was like a big deal. And when I got there, it's a liberal arts college. And so the choices are very limited unless you're going to do the dual degree or this and that. Now, mind you, I already said I didn't have enough money to get there. So we can't plan for 5 years. So I was like, what can I do? What can I finish? And Econ was it. So I just went with that. And it actually just, you start off your first 2 years and it's core classes. But when I got into the real classes, I was like, okay, I can do this. I can see myself going somewhere with this. Okay. So, yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you what I remember about what it was like to step foot on Spelman campus. Okay. It was magic. I don't know. So everybody know I went to Georgia Tech. Mm-hmm. And when I would go and visit you and Stefan, or we would like come visit each other on campus, when I stepped on Spelman's campus or Morehouse campus or Clark, when I wasn't supposed to be there and I got lost.
Yes.
It felt like a completely different world. So from your experience, what was the HBCU experience like to you?
It did feel like a different world. So, our high school was like mostly Black. So was our middle school. That was also my elementary school experience. So it wasn't so much the people, but like I could see other people getting a culture shock because I could tell they weren't from those environments. That wasn't my experience. My experience was that was my first time realizing that Black people in general were like that rich. And so that's what so we're in like a lower income, maybe like middle class at best, let's say. And so going into an environment where people's parents had went to college and then their parents had went to college, that was a lineage of like education that I hadn't seen before, especially for people who look like me, so when I got there, there was like, there's just a standard of people are doing the most in the best ways. People are very ambitious, haven't heard not an ounce of fear in their bodies. It's like, I know I'm here, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. And that was culture shock to me altogether. Because I was like, no, I'm more reserved. Like I do things because people told me to. And it kind of just opened my eyes to like, oh, wow, people are out here and they are getting it. Like people had businesses. It's like, well, how did you get here? Like I went to school with a girl who got a high-rise apartment sophomore year because she was selling clothes on the side. And I was like, you're doing what? Just stuff I wouldn't have thought of. And just because of pure ambition. And so when I stepped on the campus, I was like, this is a space where I just want to do my best. It's like, it's fast-paced. Let's get to it. And it was people who looked just like me and you, it's just, and it was empowering, I guess. And then going into the classrooms and also hearing about experiences of people doing the same thing, alumni coming back, like it was just a let's get it, yes you can, no excuses kind of environment. So I too shocked.
It is something so crazy to be in spaces without any type of fear or any type of timidness. Like I don't even think you realize how much fear you might have until you see somebody who has none. And it's like, you did what?
Right.
When, where, with who?
Exactly.
Like that is that's something to witness and then make you reflect and then be like, well, dang, am I really putting myself out there as much as I could? Am I really walking into things that I really want to do, or am I more concerned? Because me, I was more those first couple of semesters, I was more concerned about, all right, if people see me, that's a problem. So like, don't see me.
Yeah.
But like when you see people who none of that matters and it's all about what's my goal and how I'm gonna get there, that's life changing.
Right.
Shout out to Spelman. We love it over there. We love it over there. Homecoming and when it's not homecoming.
Exactly.
So then you get into Econ, and we don't got to get too deep into it because, apparently that was a couple years ago.
Wow. Yeah.
But a very high level. What I guess is something that maybe people would be shocked, quote unquote, to know that you learn in Econ, if that makes sense. I think when I think about it, I'm just thinking economy, money, taxes, high level, big concept. Like I don't know what else I would expect to go, but I took one econ class and it was a lot of math, and I was like, what is this? We supposed to be talking about other stuff.
Yeah, I would say I didn't really know what I was getting into either, because like I said, I kind of just picked my poison and said, we're gonna go with this one. We're gonna go with her. She seems nice. But when I got into the classes, I was actually more interested in the history aspect. So for reference, I have a BA. So we didn't get into too much of the math side. Like I had a few, I think I went up to like Calc 2, but the econ classes I took were mostly theory, which has its own. I struggled. There were tears, but it's just kind of like trend data. I was really into that. My statistics classes, I was really into the like, what have we done before? Invisible hand theory, like how does this work? There are concepts that I don't apply in my day-to-day now, so they're kind of lost on me. But I remember at the time I was really absorbed by how much went into the headlines you see on the news about like inflation. So COVID taught us a lot, maybe more than the average person would know, because you're watching on the news. You're seeing people not be able to leave their houses. You're seeing Amazon's, biggest spikes because people are ordering left and right. So you see a lot of differences in the trend data, I guess. So it's nice to have that little background where I remember a little bit and I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of know about this. But the biggest thing I learned at Spelman was actually the other classes that they made me take that had nothing to do with econ. Nothing. They have this big thing about being interdisciplinary. And so I took religious classes. I took religion and sexuality. Listen, them two words don't go together. I took the class. I still feel like those two words just don't go together.
In the academic context, it's like, they should be separated.
What am I doing? And so I took a lot of classes that really it shaped my perspective on everything. And I think at the time I had no idea why I would be taking both my econ core classes and a religion class at the same time. But that push to like, no, you need to know more. Yeah. It takes you out of the bubble of like what you might get as an engineer. It's like you're learning engineering principles, but to be in an environment like that where it's like, no, you actually need to know the other principles that come into like, you need to know your history. You need to know all of the things that flow into this earth that we experience, you know, like our life. And that was really what I think might have been different than me taking econ at another campus and taking it at Spelman. So oh,
that's really good. It makes you more well-rounded, because I know it like you said, it was mostly engineering theory, engineering technical, and we only had to take one like ethics class. I hated that class, but also like I understand why it's important. And then in the grand scheme of things, especially with the world we live in today, we should probably be taking more of those.
For sure.
So that makes a lot of sense. And then you mentioned about, you know, something that you learned at Spelman that you feel like you didn't get any you wouldn't have gotten anywhere else. In that same vein, like, what do you think Spelman taught you about yourself? Like, what did Spelman College teach Gabby about Gabby?
Spelman College taught me that the limits I put on myself were not real limits. They were not real limits. They were like fear limits. And I'm still learning that lesson. Like, I'm not saying that to say that like it's something I can apply, but it's just something I keep in the back of my mind. I was in this one class, totally irrelevant to econ again, but I was in this one class and we were talking just kind of casually, open forum type of class. And one of the girls raised her hand on the Bible. She raises her hand in the class, right? And she's like, hey, I'm so sorry. I really have a dumb question. You know, usually when people say that, it's like, it's probably not a dumb question. She asked us, what was a car note? And everybody was like, so I'm literally giggling, right? Because at this point I can't hold it because I can see how genuine she is. I'm giggling. The teacher's like trying to gasp for breath a little bit because she's like, what do you mean, what's a car note? And she was like, yeah, like, what does that mean? Like, what's a car note? Like, when do people get those? And we were like, you know, when you go and you buy a car and the bank finances your car and then you pay the bank monthly. Like, we're having to literally like kindergarten. This girl didn't know what a car note was because her parents never had a car note. This girl, she was not in the tax bracket to know why somebody would need a loan payment for a $60,000, $40,000, $20,000 car. She didn't have a clue. And in that moment, I said, you know, I don't have to live like this. I was like, you know, there are people in this life that don't know what a finance note is. And I thought to myself, you know, she was really embarrassed. She was not. She was totally embarrassed. I was laughing harder than I am right now. She was totally, like, when I say she was red in the face, like a Black girl red in the face. And we were just like, you know, it's okay. You know, it's not your fault that you don't know what a car note is. But, you know, I could have kids who maybe when they don't know what a car note is, not like, you know what, I can't do this. Let me go do something with my life. Because whatever her parents do, they do it well. They do it very well.
That is a new goal of mine. I do not want my kids to know what a car note is.
At all. No loans.
As I'm currently paying my car note, my new goal is for my future kids to never know what a car note is.
Never. Yes.
That's the most amazing thing and insight I've ever heard. Wow.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yes.
All right, new goals. That's
new goals. Set your goals. You can do it.
And also, the limit does not exist. So
it doesn't.
That's a good lesson to learn as early as you possibly can. But I feel like, especially before you know, get out into the quote unquote real world and start trying to figure out who you want to be in this life, like, the limit does not exist. And most of the time, I do feel like we're battling limits and obstacles. There are real obstacles.
Yeah.
But a lot of time it's mental before we even start trying to face any of the other things we do. So what a great lesson to learn. And what is a car note?
What is a car note?
So we decide our children will not know what car notes are. We're coming up on 2021. That's when you graduated from Spelman, right?
Yes.
We're coming up on 2021 and you're getting ready to graduate and you get to decide what it is you want to go do with your career. What kind of I guess what was your thought process during that time of what you want to do post Spelman?
Like before I graduated?
Yeah, before you graduated.
Before I graduated, we were like in the throes of COVID. So Spelman did this kind of like understandable for how small the campus was, but unconventional for what everybody else did. We didn't return to school. So COVID hit 2020 March. So I was in my junior year and they sent us home, 2 weeks like everybody else did. And then it was like, actually come get your stuff and go back home to your mama's house. And so, we got our stuff and we never went back. So I actually graduated. I was taking my last final in my mom's living room. My dad is in there talking to me like, and I'm like, he'll get the hint eventually, right? Because I can't speak because we're on the camera. And he's like, oh, sorry. And I'm like, good, trying to finish up this math final that I actually needed to graduate. It was really weird. But so we stayed home. And so when I was home, it kind of skewed my view because I didn't feel that like same push because I'm not in the environment anymore. I'm kind of totally online taking classes. I didn't really think about moving back to Atlanta because everything's still kind of shut down. I didn't have a job. It didn't go how I wanted it to go because I was still home. And so at that point, I was just like kind of out of that motivated environment. It's like, okay, well, it's just time to get a job.
Yeah.
And so I actually hate that for me, but it all works out in the end. Yeah. But I did not feel that like it's senior year. Where are you working? Where are you going? It was very different. Very different.
I didn't even realize that because I graduated a semester. A semester after you. So at that point, people was like, what pandemic?
Right.
Come back here and go to class.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we actually graduated in the same place because they held Spelman's graduation at Georgia Tech Stadium. So that's where we graduated.
They sure did because I watched it streaming. I sure did. Wow.
We were wedding. Yeah.
It's crazy that y'all got sweated out and we got rained out.
Yes. You barely made it across the stage.
We thank the Lord that I did.
Yes.
I would have been upset.
Absolutely.
Blood, sweat, tears, trauma, and I can't get off the stage. Wow. But despite that, I guess, less than ideal transition, you eventually find yourself in program management.
Yes.
Now, how do you think your econ background prepares you for program management?
Okay, so I think econ helped me, but I think the MBA pushed it over the top.
Oh my gosh. Let's rewind because low-key, I forgot. And I should never do that. Let's talk about what made you decide I didn't have enough school at Spelman. I need to go back for more. What was the thought process in that decision?
So Spelman, I ended up getting a half scholarship to Spelman, right? So when I finished, I was really into data at the time. And I was like, I really wanted to do a data analysis master's degree. And that's what I actually got into Mercer for. So I was looking up like, what is the average post-grad Spelman, what do they make? And it was like 50 grand. And mind you, I've invested a lot into this education. And I was like, wow, I really need to make more than 50 grand. Like we need to be on the up and up, and not necessarily for my own pride, but like literally I have loans to pay back. So we need to make something shake pretty quickly. Yeah. And I quickly realized that I needed to further my education because there are some degrees where you can stand on your own and your entry into the workforce just works for you. And there are some where you need a little bit more backing to kind of beat out people who have more experience than you, just that kind of thing. Yeah. So I felt like the MBA would be a good push, or at the time, data analytics would be a good push. Okay. So I actually called Mercer because I was about to enter the data analytics program because it was in Atlanta. Yeah. And I was still at home from COVID. And I was like, I can't go to Atlanta to go to school because I would have to get an apartment. Yeah. And so I called them and I said, hey, can I switch to the MBA program with the same credentials? And she was like, yeah, sure. I'll do it now. She sent me over an acceptance letter for the MBA program. And she was like, yeah. And so I did that online. And it actually just worked out to where I could just flow right into the program. Because at the time I was working remote and I was also going to school remote, which is not fun, but we make it.
Tell me.
I know.
You don't have to tell me a single thing about this. Okay.
So yeah. But when I got to work at the job I actually wanted, because my remote job was not ideal.
It's okay. We're going to fast forward past that.
Fast forward through that job. And I got the base letter acceptance. And you were actually at the apartment when I got that.
I did.
Yes.
And my mom was like, do you think Gabby's going to get her job today? No,
yes. And so I got my job, and I was into a training program. And so it was like a 3-step, 2-year training program. And, they say they teach you how to do everything. When I got to know people's job, they gave me that assignment and said, we believe in you. You can figure it out. And there
like, you are smart. You are capable. Here you go.
They said, you are smart. You are kind. You are important. Get it done. And I did get it done. It wasn't that bad. I feel like I'm a big believer in if you have enough context, you can do it. Yeah. Because they will tell you when you mess it up. When you get to a job, they're going to tell you every time when it's wrong. And eventually, as long as you have an open mindset to regroup and not let it affect you personally, and just say, okay, this isn't about me. This is just about this work. Like, you have to separate the two. And I think that helped me a lot on the just getting it and figuring it out. Yeah. That MBA taught me some independence, because there's a big shift from undergrad to graduate degrees, where people are not, especially in an intimate undergrad setting, professors were really willing to help you. Yeah. Like, it's like hands-on, let's get to it. You have a few who don't care nothing about that, but there are enough to where they will support you through. But when you get to a master's program, it's like, no, get in where you fit in. Yeah. How did it work out? You can't reach these professors after school. Like, you just have to, especially remote, you have to just figure it out. Yeah. And even aside from the coursework, just that mentality helped me when I got to train in my real job, because it's like, no, you just need to figure it out. You can't call people. And in this environment, I actually could call people. So it worked out, because they thought I was so smart. And I'm like, oh no, I just thought I couldn't ask you. So I'm just over here struggling, because I thought that maybe I shouldn't. Yeah. But yeah, so I feel like that shift from school to school really helped me when I got to work, because I was already kind of functioning in an independent environment. Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh, grad school. What?
Grad school.
It's the best of times and it's the worst of times, because you get to technically do what you want to do. Like, it's not like undergrad where you got to take all the fluff. You in chemistry, but you don't need chemistry. Like, you don't have to do that. It's you taking what you want, but also you have to really want to do it.
Yes, you do.
The difference between being in class all day versus going to work and then, that's something that needs to be studied, because that's crazy. Because I think, how did I go to class all day? I go to this job and then I come home and I can't. The way that I got to flip that switch in my brain is a pain process. But I also think it's really important that you mentioned that in the work context, like when you get stuff wrong, it's not about you. Yeah. I do feel like, at least for me, when I first started working, like, you don't want people to think you don't know stuff, but like, they're not expecting you to know everything. Like, they're expecting you to be smart enough to put the pieces together, and then when you can't, ask for help from people that are, there to help you. But I think so much of that transition, which I'm going to ask you about, is understanding that it's not about you. It's not about, nobody's trying to grade you. And I think we're coming from a space where everything is about a grade, and everything is about, are you checking the boxes? Are you doing it right? And then you're going into a space where it's just like, we need you to get it done, and it needs to be, we're not trying to grade you on it. Like, if you get it, you mess it up, all right, we're going to start over and we're going to figure it out. But nobody's like, you get an F for failing, Right. So, great alley to myself, your transition from school to work, I guess, in like the, not necessarily technical, but like in the social space, like mindset, how did that go for you? Like, you mentioned it a little bit, like you didn't know if you could ask people for help and stuff like that, but how did you transition, and then how did you get over that hump?
So transition, like, socially in college to socially at work. Yeah. In college, I would say that I was actually quieter than I am at work, which is, some people like, oh, you need to tone it down when you go into your office. No, I needed to turn it up, because it just, like in college, especially going like in person to COVID, like, you stop really talking to people. Like, being real in a remote space, you stop talking to people. And you see them on social media, and that's enough catching up for you. Like, you don't need no. And so from college, and then my first job was 100% remote. And so
this is true.
And then I got to work, and they wanted me to come into that office. I was like, who, where? And so I had to talk more, because a lot of, especially now that I'm going to be fully in person, if you spend more time at work than you do at home, there's really, to me, there was no advantage of me being quiet at the job. And not to say that I'm not professional at my job, but to say that this has to be a space where you're interacting with people because it gets you further in the office. Like, you might not need to know all the office tea, but you might need to know a little bit because that little bit will help you know who you can go to, who has a bad reputation, who, who stays in trouble, who didn't get a good appraisal. All this stuff is none of your business, but it does help you flow through the workspace.
Yeah, provides context.
Yes. And so, if somebody's like always complaining and maybe you don't ask them what the new update was because they're going to give you the most negative approach on the planet. Maybe you know who the teacher's pet is because they have those in the office too.
They do.
Don't let it fool you. So you know who you can mimic their work because they always get an A+. Like, these are the things that kind of help you at work. So I realized quickly I needed to talk. I need to figure out. Bree knows I can look at somebody and be like, nope, yes.
It's a great gift. It's a great skill and talent. You got to use it for good and not evil, but it's great.
But so you have to learn how to like navigate through each space and what it takes, because that works in my job, but it might not be the solution for all jobs. But right now in this space, that's what works. And so that's what I realized.
Yeah. And even we talk about a little bit, like just talking to people in general, because like, if I need help and Bob know that I talk to him every morning about his kids, he is more, inclined to want to help me when I need something randomly that's not on his to-do list today.
Right.
Then he gonna be like, oh yeah, Brianna be, talking to me about stuff that's not working. There's a connection that's not just help me.
Exactly.
I need help. And I do need you to rework this board. But I also know that we can talk about your grandkids, and so I feel like being open to the social aspects. I know people be like, oh, you're not supposed to there's a balance,
because we're not robots.
We're not. Yes, you can't say certain stuff. There's certain stuff I won't say at work that I will call Gabby and say. But when I say it at work, of course not.
Right.
I don't even know me like that. So program management, what does your day-to-day look like?
Okay, so I'm an acquisition program manager and I work for the government. So with this, I work in an office that supports aircraft. And so in my day-to-day, I have a project might be a modification. And I just support this modification in paperwork, in day-to-day communications. Sometimes it's smooth sailing. Sometimes there's an issue, a delay. So we just kind of work through this. I don't work independently. I work on a team. And this team has engineers. This team has logisticians, financial managers. So I'm just the middleman. Of when something changes, I need to know. So I ask, and people don't have to report to me. I don't mean it like that. But there's a chain of like communication to where something happens, tell the PM. And then the PM, I take it to my boss. It flows. And once this loop closes, we got something done or notified of a change. Just kind of, my work is mostly the same because mine is at this point, we're pretty smooth sailing. But I see people in the beginning stages, see people towards the end, see people brand new starting stuff. So in the office, we're all doing different things because we're all assigned different things. But generally, I'm just making sure things go well. And if they don't, letting people know.
I was going to say, when things don't go well, is it your job to fix them, or do you help people fix them or get the right parties involved?
Right. I'm just facilitating the fixing. Like, somebody's out there really turning the wrench on the plane. It's not me. It's not me. But before they get there, somebody has to do the engineering drawings. Before they get there, somebody has to present it to leadership. Before leadership gets there, somebody has to work out in my team to see what happened. How do we know this happened? When did it occur? There are things you have to work on before you get from point A to point B. And so I'm just here. Like, okay, send me an email. They told me X, Y, Z. And a lot of times I don't have a lot to contribute to the meetings because some things are purely like, we need engineering functions, period. It's not happening without them. And then sometimes it's, we need a part order. Where's the logistician? Like, so sometimes I'm just there. Sometimes I'm helpful. Depends on who you ask.
But either way, I'm here. That is, I don't think I understood the importance of, I know they're important, but like until you see it, like, because before I like interacted with program managers in my job, I was like, man, what they do over there? Because like
everybody says that
fighting for my life, and like they seem like they just be chilling. But then I was in a meeting once with the program manager, and I was like, I never thought about that or that or that. Yeah. Or like I'm just thinking about how can I fix this thing and get it ready for the system. But like you're thinking about how much stuff costs,
right? How
many systems we trying to build, how many engineers, how many different teams.
Yeah,
like, that's actually a lot to manage. Like my window would look crazy if I had to manage anything other than myself.
Yeah, I think the PM's biggest job is pulling everybody out of their bubble. Because everybody, like the same way you feel like I just want to fix it, every like function has that same mindset of like the finance manager's like, I just want to pay for it. How much is it? You know, she don't care nothing about none of how y'all got it. You know, the logistician's like, okay, what parts do you need? I don't care. You know, it's not that they don't care, but you know, there's always like you're worried about your job. Yeah. But that PM is like, how do all of your jobs fit into what we need to do? Yeah. Yeah. So it's just facilitating.
So good. Because honestly, that bubble be causing a lot of trouble. Because you just don't think about the other functions that are involved. And then but if we did, sometimes I notice in my role, like if we thought about the other functions involved prior to the problem, we probably could have avoided this entire thing.
And even I'll even pledge it, sometimes you wouldn't get anything done. Sometimes it's too much.
That's also true.
Because there are things like, even for me, sometimes you have a whole team, then you realize, oh, I need legal. Yeah. Is this even legal? Like, you get so deep in your bubbles that you sometimes forget who to add. And it's like, hold on, you talking about a contract. We got to call somebody else. This ain't it. We can't go to jail. So
do you enjoy like knowing all the different functions that go into a thing?
No. I want to be in a bubble too. But I'm still learning them. I feel like maybe in like 15 years, if I'm still a PM, it's comfortable because you know, like you've heard enough scenarios where you know. But me being like relatively new, this is my year 2 will be March. I'm always like asking my boss, like, hey girl, is this even a thing? Because there's some stuff like you realize, this don't really sound right, but there are certain things where maybe I'm not catching up on it, or I'm not really aware of, is this how this usually flows? Because again, I also have a bubble. Yeah. And my bubble is my experience. And so if we're all working on different things and I'm just coming in using my common sense, which is relative, you know, it's there. I feel like sometimes there are things that maybe I'm like, I might be missing something, especially when you have limited oversight.
Yeah. That's interesting. Wow. Shout out to the program managers of the world. Probably very like underrated in the scheme of like how we get this, how these cogs turn in this machine. Wowza, wowza, wowza. So you talked about you touched a little bit on like the challenges of program management. Is there one that's like, this is the biggest nuisance to me on a day?
Yes. Thank you for that question. There is. I have to do a lot of public speaking. And when I say a lot, I mean, we give like 4, sometimes more briefings a week. Okay. At different levels. So some of them are very low stakes and some of them are like, please God, don't let them ask me any questions. Like, so I don't enjoy it. It's been 2 years. I have not gotten used to it. Okay. I think people say I do well, but it's, you know, it's one of those things where if you don't like it, it does not matter what anybody else has to say about it. So yeah, that's my biggest, like, if I could change anything about this job, it would be the briefings for sure.
Interesting. You know, I'm really also not a fan. I know people be like, oh, but you talk.
I'm literally about to make that same noise. Go ahead.
Why would you do that? Okay. I don't know. The context matters. You know what I'm saying? Like, when
I'm listening.
This is not, even though this is my space, it's not feeling like a safe space anymore. Just so we're clear. I don't know. It's something about having to be in a room like outside of my team, like with the program managers and with like the big people, not the, you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah. I don't know. That's much different than speaking in front of my team, like for team stuff to me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
So all I was trying to say was that I agree with you before I felt like he was about to come for me. So, you know, we're gonna let that pass, even though I agree. Do you think it's something that like will start to feel better the more you do it? Or is it just like, this is just not my thing, it's not gonna happen?
I don't know, because as you know, I don't really have a problem talking or speaking my mind.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I think what I don't like is having to speak for everybody else's work.
Mm.
And not to say that it isn't good work, it's great work, but I don't like that I'm having to summarize for an engineer when I took my econ classes, my MBA, and went on about my business. Like I hate that I have to speak for them. And it's not that they can't chime in. So these aren't environments where it's like I'm solely tuned in, but it's like I'm having to kind of answer questions for them in certain spaces, unless we go too deep off the end, But I'm kind of having to talk for everybody in the team that I mentioned. Oh, they said this, and this means that, and people just have to take my word for it. So if I'm questioning on it, it's like makes me a little bit uneasy. It's not necessarily that you don't know, but sometimes being put on the spot and it wasn't your original idea. It kind of puts a little bit more pressure, and I feel like that's the part where I'm like, I could really would rather just say, hey, they're over there. And I have done it before.
I'm jumping ship. Ask him.
Make no mistake. If you ask me twice the same question and I look out of the corner of my eye and I see the engineer, I'm like, actually, sir, don't even worry about it. He's right over there. Can you chime in and answer that? Because at that point, you never want to seem like, oh yeah, me. I know. No. Somebody else can tell it better, especially if it was their idea. So I have done that. I have no shame. And people laugh. I still have no shame.
Because I agreed. Because I feel like I'm not the smartest person in this room, and you calling me the expert on something that I just started learning about 6 months ago is quite insane.
Yes.
Literally in my meeting on Friday, somebody asked a question, and out the corner of my eye, I looked at my mentor because I was expecting her to answer, and when I saw that she was not going to, the panic in me rose more quickly than I expected it to. I was like, oh, she wants me to just talk the entire time. Why would you do that? Hate it. So that's what I agree. That is because there's so many people in this room that know more than me, and I get that I have to learn, so I have to answer the questions right or wrong. Because if I'm wrong, my mentor will swoop in there and she will save me. She will come and get me. But she's like, first, I want you to jump out there and see if you can swim. If you can't, I'm gonna get you. But that space between seeing if I can swim and if I need help, that's a long space. So definitely agree with that. When you're in these spaces with like engineers or finance or whoever it is, what do you feel like is unique about your perspective as a program manager?
Right now, I would say the fact that I'm so new.
Oh, that's good.
So I work in a space where people are like, they've been in there 20 years. 30. It's not uncommon for somebody to be like start to finish their career in this spot. Not necessarily in this office, but in this space where things like they know exactly how things flow. And there are some things that kind of just they go and somebody asks a question. It's like, why do we do this like this? And it's like that's what they hire new people for. They want the new perspective. And sometimes I'm schooled, and then sometimes people are like, we might not have to actually, or just me asking enough questions to where people are like, oh, I didn't know that they were doing this like this. Like just bridging people together where they don't necessarily need any input, but they're missing that perspective because of the bubble. So sometimes my lack of experience can come into a space and it's like, I don't think this is efficient. Like I told my boss that a few weeks ago, like, I don't think this process is efficient. And she's like, why not? And I tell her, like, from our perspective, this is how it goes. Cause when they're your boss, they don't do what you do.
Right.
And so their perspective is a little different because it's administrative. So when you get to a point where you're the person doing it, you're like, this is a bit, this is a bit much. And you're at work. So it's like, there's some tact put on that. But, you get to a point where it's like, well, I don't really think this works very well. And that experience is that lack of is sometimes appreciated in spaces where things can be like, we're just doing it because we always have.
Right. That also emphasizes why you can't be scared to speak up or ask questions because people don't even be knowing your experience because like they're so far removed from the thing that you're doing. Right. They might think this is a great thing. It's a great system, a great process, whatever. But then when you tell them like, actually, this adds 40 minutes to a thing I figured out how to do in 20. And it's like, tell me more. Right. You can change that whole world. So, and then something that is the first couple of times it happened, very off-putting is like when I would ask questions and then people would be like, actually don't know. And I'd be like, So we're all here learning. That's really great because if you don't know and I don't know, and now we got to find out. It'll be good. So, all right. Now we're going to shift into some questions that make you use your imagination. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
As I was writing these, I was like, I'm about to have so much fun with Gabby.
What's that? I don't know her. Okay.
No, you got we've been opening. Okay. All right. You're a manager of program managers. All right. Come with me. Walk with me into this space.
Walking with you.
You're building a team from scratch. What would be the top 3 qualities that you would want your program managers to have?
Top 3 qualities I want them to have. Open-minded.
Okay.
I feel like they're all kind of the same. Like you need to be open-minded. You need to be willing to change.
Okay.
Like, what do people annoy me with?
What get on my nerves every day?
Like, what irks me? I feel like the open-mindedness covers all.
Okay.
I feel why? Like it covers all because you need to be willing to make adjustments quickly. Okay. Quickly. Let's move quickly. Okay. You need to be open-minded enough to work well with the team. Because it's not a solo like type of project. You need to be able to work. You need to be flexible. Okay. Because like sometimes you need to be here, sometimes you need to be there, like sometimes you need to be hands-on. Like there has to be some flexibility for I feel like things to move efficiently. Okay. And like just time efficient because like we all do different things, but you need to know what you have going on because like you are the expert. As crazy as it sounds. Like, but if you're not efficient with your time, if you're not open-minded, I feel like it just makes the work so much harder because you can't work it in a bubble, you know?
Those are good.
I feel like those are my things.
Yeah, that was really good. You know, when I was in my mind, when I asked this question, I'm like, I wonder, do I have these qualities? But you know, me and that indecisiveness, when you say make quickly, I need enough evidence to validate that this is a good decision before.
Well, like an educated quickly.
You know, like I have to go over the same thing over and over again.
Yes, you do.
Which is probably not going to serve me well. That's funny.
But see, I'm the opposite. I'm like, if I ran through it, it's enough. I'm done with it. Like, this makes the most sense. Because I feel like any further delay, it's a fear delay. It's not indecisiveness. It's really like, at this point, you're just trying to triple reassure yourself of something you figured out the first time.
I don't like where we're going with this, so we're going to move on. All right, great. If you work for Webster's Dictionary and they came to you when they said, Gabrielle, they probably would say Gabby, but you get what I'm going with this. Okay. We need you to write the definition of a program manager. Ooh. What would you what would you write?
Oh, I don't know.
From your perspective. Because, you know, sometimes we Google stuff and then you like are in that space and you're like, it's not really what I would say that I do, you know?
Oh, like.
From your perspective, what is a program manager?
What is a program manager?
Yeah.
The mouthpiece for somebody else's work. You know what? Not to say I don't contribute anything to this, but like ultimately, like you're the mouthpiece for the team. Yes. And I don't know if I feel like that's kind of probably true in like each type of work setting. Yeah. But people just need somebody to be like, hey, what's going on with XYZ? Yeah. Then it's you. Tag, you're it, you know. Yeah.
You're the glue that brings everybody together. Because like you said, everybody's in a bubble. And I don't really know what's going on over here.
Right.
You're telling me you need my thing by Monday, but you also might tell me I'm gated by another team. It's not ready until Tuesday. And I wouldn't know that without like the program.
Right.
So I think that's a good point. I'm so excited.
Yeah. That makes me so scared.
No, he's so excited. All right. Oh, this is a 2-part. Part 1. If you could choose any fictional character or celebrity to be your coworker, who would it be?
To be my coworker.
Yeah, you come in and you got to look at them every day.
I don't know. My coworkers are already some characters. Olivia Pope.
That's a good one.
There'd be so much drama in that office.
It would be so awful, but in the best way.
Yes.
We're gonna call this the midday meeting. I just made that up on the spot. Okay. I love that. So I'm gonna give you this or that statements, and you just answer with whatever comes up first in your spirit. Okay.
We're about to edit this whole thing out. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Would you rather have in-person meetings or virtual meetings?
In person.
All right. Would you rather have somebody email you or like send you a Teams message or whatever?
Teams message.
All right. Would you rather have work travel or no work travel?
No work travel.
Okay. Would you rather work 8 hours, like 5 days a week, or like 9 hours to have every other Friday off?
9 hours.
That's a long time. Okay. Would you rather, do you believe in overtime or no overtime? You working overtime? No? All right. Do you like to have a stationary desk or hotel desk?
I've been hoteling. I feel like stationary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that my last one? Tell me more about this. You don't like hoteling?
Hoteling is cool, but it's like you don't get to make the space your own, even though you're in there a lot. And so I feel like if I had more of like my own knickknacks at the desk, then there's a bit more incentive. Like I don't have to lug all this stuff in every day. I feel like those are the things I wish I had. Because we've been hoteling since I got there. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't like the idea of hoteling because I just have too much stuff.
Yeah.
So like I got to move that every day and I got my pictures up and stuff. I don't want to move that.
Right.
All right. Okay, Gabrielle, I'm gonna open the floor for you. Do you have any last advice for like transitioning from the academic setting to the corporate setting, or anything you would like to impart to the people?
For the transitioning, I feel like don't be afraid to be who you are when you get to your space. Like don't feel the need to reinvent yourself for corporate. Like you can be who you are, especially if they know who they hired. Like maybe save your quirks for home, but like generally, you should be like, people should know who you are on a general professional level. And then there was something else you asked. What's the second part?
Or just anything you wanted to impart to the people.
Oh, don't be afraid of change. So if you get to that first job and it's not for you, apply for another job. Like always keep that cycle open. There's a lot of stats about if you stay places so long, you lose salary, things like that. So keep your eyes open, know what's out there. Keep sharpening your skills, certifications, classes, whatever you can do to like kind of move in the direction you want. You're still young. Figure it out.
Come on. This is great. Thank you so much for your words of wisdom, Gabrielle. I also took them in. Really appreciate you.
I'm taking them in.
Thank you.